Welcome to the official YouTube channel of Eternia.com. I'm your host AJ, and today I'm doing an unboxing and a mini review of the Masters of the Universe Origins, the Powers of Grayskull, early backer bonus for the Eternia Playset, King Grayskull figure. Man, that's a mouthful. Now, this is the first time that this King Grayskull has ever appeared in Origins plastic, and I couldn't be more excited to take a look at him. And I'm also very excited because this is the first time I've ever done a Origins unboxing on this channel. For anyone who normally watches this channel, everyone knows I'm in love with that collector line of Masters of the Universe. You know, I love my classics and I love my Masterverse. But I also really love my Origins too, but I don't actually display them out of the packaging. You know, there's something about having them in their blister packs with these red lava rocks. It's just so cool to me. And it gives me this like nostalgic feeling of when I was a kid and I would be at the Toys R Us store and I'd be looking at all the different types of Masters of the Universe figures, you know, on those little hooks. And I was so excited. And that's the feeling that I really get with these figures, and I love them so much. But the great thing, though, is lately, the way these figures have been released, you don't have to ruin the packaging to take a look at them. Look at this Fang Ore. You know, you could just remove the backing like this. And I realized that King Grayskull is packaged that way, too. So since I don't have to ruin the packaging, I figured why not do an unboxing and take a look at him. Now, this figure actually has had a crazy roller coaster ride in the past week. So Eternia Playset started shipping, you know, to crowdfunding backers really about 4 or 5 days ago, right? It started shipping. But fans started noticing that when they got the Eternia Playset, they didn't actually get their King Grayskull figure. And they were wondering what was going on, you know, why wasn't included in the box. And a bunch of them actually reached out to Mattel Creations, and Mattel Creations told them that it's going to be shipped separately and it's going to be shipped in March. Unfortunately, these fans shared it with me and I was able to post it on Eternia.com. But then suddenly, a few days later, this figure started showing up, and it showed up for me too, out of the blue. You know, I got a shipping notification for the Eternia Playset, but I got 0 shipping notification for this King Grayskull figure. It was shipped FedEx ground and it just showed up and it was like, wow, what a surprise. So I guess Mattel was looking at worst case scenario, or that's the date they prefer to give everyone because they're also dealing with international customers and who knows what. But I'm just happy to have this figure right now so I could take a look at it and, you know, give you my thoughts. So enough talking about the Eternia Playset, the history behind this figure, and just Masters of the Universe Origins in general. Let's take a closer look at that packaging. So here is the outer shipping box of the Origins King Grayskull figure, and I love this artwork here, heroic ancestor of He-Man. And I love the Powers of Grayskull logo there. Okay, on the back, we have King Grayskull in front of Central Tower. So let's get this box open up. Yeah, the Powers of Grayskull. I mean, that was supposed to be the spin-off of Masters of the Universe. That's what Masters of the Universe was going to become in 1987, you know, if the line continued, where they were going to deal with, you know, the prehistory of Eternia, and Hero was going to take the lead, and we're going to get those cybernetic dinosaurs. We got a few of those, and giants and stuff like that, but really the line faltered, and it never was seen to fruition, which is really a shame. So I love seeing it, you know, start to come back to life, and now. So look at this packaging. It looks fantastic. And then on the back, yeah, that's the same image we had back here, except in color, and it looks great. Okay. So enough looking at the packaging. Let's take a closer look at that figure. So here is the Eternia Playset early backer bonus King Grayskull Origins figure in 360 degrees. And my first impressions is, wow, this figure looks great. You know, the Masterverse King Grayskull figure, that was a deluxe figure. And it was deluxe and a lot more money because they used some high quality materials. And you know what? I think they pretty much ported the high quality materials over to this Origins figure. This cape is the same material. And look at that plush fur collar. It looks like a Persian cat. It's so thick and robust. I just want to pet it. And, this figure just looks great to me. And same thing with the paint applications. I mean, I really love the gold here on the wrist bracers and on the belt and on the crest. So it looks really well done so far. But you know what? Let's get him off this dais first. And let's take a closer look at that head sculpt. So here's the head sculpt of the Origins King Grayskull figure. And he looks terrific. You know what? And we're going to do a comparison. I think this is the same exact sculpt as the Masterverse figure, but bigger. How about that? But you know what? Let's just judge it on its own. And so far, I think it looks terrific. It's so well sculpted. The hair and the braids. Let's check out the back here. Yeah, the way the hair is just braided off. And then you got the gold clip. It's such a well done head. I think the paint job is pretty well done. Looks like the eyebrows could have been done a little better. But overall, it's a great looking head sculpt. So let's take a closer look at his cape. And the cape is really a nice red material here. Unlike the Masterverse figure, the Masterverse figure had wires, posable wires. But other than that, this is the same material. And it's really nice material. And then look at this fur, collar. Man, it's so plush. It's so soft. It's so well done. I love it. Now, I think I saw Velcro here. Yeah, it looks like that the cape itself is removable. So if we undo the Velcro straps, there we go. Slip under his power harness. Let's try this one here as well. Okay. This underneath the power harness here as well. We should be able to take this off. Do I have to remove the head? I don't think so. There we go. And how about that? How fantastic does he look without his cape? Now, in regards to articulation, you're going to get everything, that you expect from Origins. The only thing that I think is going to be, restrictive is the actual head movement itself. And that's just because these braids are going to get in the way. But I think overall we'll be generally surprised. You can still look left or right, and you can look up to some degree. And then down might be a problem because those braids are really going to hit against the power harness. So he's really not going to be able to look down too much. But up he does a pretty good job. And like I said, left and right. But there's even going to be more restrictive movements thanks to his sheath, or really his sword loop here. So if you see on the back here, he has a sword loop, and that's because his accessory is a power sword. Now, it doesn't look like the power sword he had in Masters of the Universe Revelation. Well, basically, I mean the prequel comics for Masters of the Universe Revelation. But what he does have is a translucent blue power sword, which looks pretty cool. And it fits in his sheath. But having this in the sheath, it's really going to restrict head movement when he's looking from side to side. So if you're really looking for some dynamic poses, you're probably going to want to have this power sword in his hand versus that, sword loop on the back of the power harness. Okay, let's remove this harness here. I got to remember this is Origins. Can't do this with Masterverse. Pop off the head, and then we can just easily snap this off here, remove it, and then reattach it. And there we go. And he's looking pretty good. Okay, now we're at the part where we do a comparison between the King Grayskull Origins figure and the King Grayskull Masterverse figure. And this was the comparison I was looking forward to, since we took them out of the box. I was so excited for this part, just to take a look at these two figures. Now, starting with the capes, I think, once again, like I said before, this is actually the same material. It's the same fur collar, and this is the same red material cape. It's really high quality material. It's interesting and has a very soft outer side to it, both of them. And the only thing different is, the actual Masterverse version has bendy wires. But otherwise, they both look great. Now, in regards to accessories, this was the sword that we saw in the prequel comics for Masters of the Universe Revelation. I really love the design of the sword. And here we got this blue translucent power sword. So it's a little different. And it would have been nice if we did get this shield with the Origins figure, just like we did with Masterverse, because I really love this design of the shield. But otherwise, they both look great. You know what I want to do is I want to take a closer look at these face sculpts because I actually think they are the same sculpt, but the Origins one is bigger. So let's take a closer look. So here is the Origins and Masterverse head sculpt. And as I look at them and I look at the top of the head and the textures and the braids and the way the face is sculpted, at first glance, they almost look like different sculpts, but I really think these are exactly the same sculpt. But the only difference here is this one is enlarged to some degree. The scale of it is a tiny bit bigger on the Origins figure, and it's a little bit smaller on the Masterverse figure. But the actual detail, the construction, the sculpting of the face and the hair and the braids, yeah, looks entirely like the same sculpt. I think this one lost a little bit of the detail, but the main curvatures are still there. So at least I think they worked from the same 3D model and then, ironically, on the Origins figure, upsized it. They both look great, but you know, it'll be interesting. You can see the skin tone is different here, but it'll be interesting what they'll look like if we swap the heads. So let's give that a try. And here they are with their heads swapped. And you know what? They really don't look that bad. With the Origins with the Masterverse head on, or the Masterverse figure with the Origins head on. You know what? I think overall they work. And here is the Origins King Grayskull figure with the Masterverse sword and shield. I think he looks pretty cool with that. Is it worth swapping capes? That cape is just going to drag below his feet. Yeah, I'm probably not going to bother swapping the capes. So what do I think of the Masters of the Universe, the Powers of Grayskull, early backer bonus to the Eternia Playset King Grayskull Origins figure? I really love this figure, guys. You know, there is a lot of quality put into this figure, you know, from the soft goods cape to that plush fur collar to the gold paint used and just the actual sculpting itself, even though if some of the sculpting is borrowed from that Masterverse figure on its own, it's a really well done, high tier Masters of the Universe Origins figure, and I'm so pleased to have them. And I'm a huge fan of this rendition of King Grayskull. You know, I enjoyed Masters of the Universe Revelation and Masters of the Universe Revolution, and I am very happy to have them. And I'm happy that I could actually take them out of the packaging, so now I could build the Eternia Playset and actually maybe put them on Central Tower once in a while and have them rule the most powerful tower in the universe. So overall, I'm just really happy to have this figure, and it's a high recommend for me. So that's it. I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.
He is exactly like you in every way. Except 1/8 your size.
I shall call him Mini-Me.